For 13 nights, Alpha King Ronan Ashborne had watched his kingdom die. The dream always began inside the Covenant Hall. 7 banners hung above 7 rows of bodies. Pack leaders, soldiers, children, wolves Ronan knew and wolves he had never seen, all dead beneath his throne. Above them hung a moon black enough to swallow the stars. And every night, the same faceless woman stood beside the Ashborne crown. Her whisper never changed. When the black moon rises, your crown will choose who dies. Ronan woke before dawn with his claws buried in the wooden frame of his bed. He stared at his hands until they became human again. 13 nights. 13 identical nightmares. And tomorrow, representatives of the 7 great packs would begin arriving for the renewal of the Crown Covenant. Ronan did not believe in coincidence. By sunrise, he was beneath the palace. Alone. 3 nights earlier, he had discovered unexplained guard rotations around the eastern Undercroft, a section officially sealed since his grandfather's reign. Someone had falsified the patrol records. That had been enough. Ronan descended a narrow stone staircase and found fresh torchlight below. Then he heard a scream. Female. He ran. 2 guards stood outside an iron door. Both went pale when they saw him. Your Majesty. Open it. Neither moved. Ronan's amber eyes brightened. Now, the lock turned. The chamber beyond contained no prisoners. It contained one. A young woman sat chained to a stone chair. Dark copper hair hung loose around a face, white with exhaustion. Blood stained the skin beneath her fingernails. Strange burns circled both wrists. On a table before her lay objects Ronan recognized. His signet ring, a ceremonial dagger, a letter he had sealed yesterday, and the black chess piece that normally sat beside his bed. Ronan stopped. How did you get those? The woman slowly raised her deep green eyes. A thin ring of gold surrounded each iris. She looked terrified, not of the guards, of him. One guard stepped forward. Your Majesty, the keeper ordered. Ronan seized him by the throat. What keeper? The woman suddenly gasped. Her body arched against the chains. Her eyes fixed on Ronan's signet ring. No. Blood appeared beneath another fingernail. Don't touch it. Ronan released the guard and moved toward her. What happens if you do? She stared at him, then at the ring. Her voice became barely audible. I see what you choose. A cold pressure moved through the room. Ronan looked at the royal objects covering the table. Decisions, treaties, orders, pieces of his private life. How long? The woman didn't answer. Ronan crouched in front of her. What is your name? Evelyn. Evelyn what? Thorne. Ronan reached for her chains. Evelyn recoiled. Don't. He stopped. Her gaze had moved past him, toward his crown-shaped signet. Her pupils widened. And suddenly she whispered the exact words from his nightmare. When the black moon rises. Ronan went completely still. Evelyn looked directly into his eyes. Your crown will choose who dies. Ronan rose slowly. Remove the chains. The guards exchanged a glance. Your Majesty, we were ordered never to release her. Ronan turned. By whom? Neither answered. His alpha command shook dust from the stone walls. Remove them. The guards obeyed. Iron fell from Evelyn's wrists. She nearly collapsed. Ronan caught her before she struck the floor. The instant his hand touched her arm, Evelyn inhaled sharply. But no vision came. She pulled away anyway. Ronan noticed. You're afraid of touching me. I'm afraid of what belongs to you. Her eyes moved toward the table. Ronan picked up his signet ring. Evelyn immediately backed away. What does it show you? Possibilities. The future? No. She shook her head. Futures. Ronan waited. Evelyn looked at the guards before answering. Every important choice creates branches. Most disappear too quickly for me to see. But some objects hold decisions strongly enough that I can follow what might happen after them. Ronan looked at the ring. How? I don't know. How long have they been making you do this? Evelyn's silence answered him. Ronan's jaw tightened. Months? 8. His wolf stirred. 8 months beneath his palace. 8 months without his knowledge. He pointed toward the objects. Why mine? Evelyn gave a hollow laugh. Because your choices affect more people. She nodded toward his ceremonial dagger. They gave me that before you negotiated with the Iron Veil pack. Ronan remembered the treaty. Iron Veil had unexpectedly abandoned its territorial demands hours before negotiations collapsed. One of Ronan's greatest diplomatic victories. What did you see? 6 outcomes. Her voice weakened. In 4, negotiations failed. In 1, your commander died. And the 6th? You changed the meeting location. Ronan froze. He had changed it. An anonymous security report had warned him the original hall was vulnerable. Who gave me the warning? I don't know. Evelyn looked at him with something worse than fear. Pity. They never told me what they did with the visions. Ronan moved to another object. The sealed letter. He had written it yesterday to Lady Celestine, his intended bride. Did they make you touch this? Evelyn's face drained of color. No. A lie. Ronan could hear her heartbeat accelerate. He placed the letter down. Who is doing this? I never see faces. You saw the guards. They change. Then give me a name. Evelyn stared at him. If I knew, don't you think I would have screamed at the moment you opened that door? Ronan said nothing. She was right. Then he noticed something carved into the table. Dozens of narrow lines. Not random scratches. Dates. Beside each date was a royal decision. Iron Vale. Western grain routes. Military appointments. Tax concessions. Border negotiations. Ronan recognized every one. His greatest successes of the past 8 months were all there. He felt suddenly cold. A guard moved toward the doorway. Ronan heard it. Stop. The man ran. Ronan caught him before he reached the corridor and slammed him against the stone. Who ordered this? The guard trembled. I never met him. Who? We received instructions through sealed packets. From where? The guard's eyes flicked toward the table. Toward Celestine's unopened letter. Ronan followed his gaze. Then he saw the wax fragments beside it. Violet. The official color of House Vera. Celestine's house. Evelyn whispered behind him. Your Majesty. Ronan turned. She was staring at his signet ring again. This time, terror filled her face. What? Evelyn backed away. I've seen this moment before. Ronan's blood went cold. What happens next? Her eyes lifted to his. You stopped trusting everyone. By noon, the Eastern Undercroft no longer existed on any palace schedule. Ronan replaced its guards with men personally chosen by Commander Kale Marrow and moved Evelyn to an unused chamber in the old royal wing. No chains. No royal objects. No one entered without Ronan's permission. Then he summoned Kale. The commander listened without interrupting as Ronan described the underground chamber. When Ronan finished, Kale's expression had hardened. 8 months. At least. And nobody noticed? Someone made certain nobody would. Ronan placed the violet wax fragments on the table. Kale examined them. House Vera. So it appears. You think Celestine imprisoned the girl? I think someone wants me to think she did. Kale looked at him. That's unusually cautious. Ronan almost smiled. Then he remembered Evelyn's warning. You stop trusting everyone. Find out where this wax came from. Quietly. Kale nodded. And Evelyn? No one knows she has been removed. Not even Lady Celestine. Especially not Celestine. That evening, Ronan joined his intended bride for dinner. Celestine Vera sat across from him beneath a chandelier of burning candles. She was elegant as always. Dark honey-blonde hair arranged perfectly. Violet gray eyes calm. Every word measured. Their marriage had been negotiated 6 months earlier. It would bind House Vera to the crown and stabilize 3 disputed territories. They respected each other. That had always been enough. Until now. You're staring at me, Celestine said. Am I? You usually hide suspicion better. Ronan set down his wine. Do I have reason to be suspicious? Celestine's expression didn't change. Almost certainly. You're a king. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Ronan deliberately placed his signet ring on the table. Her eyes flicked toward it. Only once. But he saw. Where were you last night? My apartments. Witnesses? Celestine's gaze sharpened. Is this dinner or an interrogation? Answer. My attendants saw me until midnight. And afterward, I slept. Ronan leaned back. Celestine studied him. Then she said quietly, You found something. His wolf went alert. What makes you say that? Because 3 servants from the Eastern Wing disappeared from their posts this morning. Commander Marrow canceled 2 meetings, and you've asked me questions you already know will offend me. Ronan said nothing. Celestine reached for her wine. Her sleeve shifted. There was a burn on the inside of her wrist. A thin circular mark. Ronan had seen identical burns on Evelyn. He caught Celestine's hand. She stiffened. Where did you get this? For the first time, her composure cracked. Let go. Answer me. Ronan. Where? Celestine pulled free. Her chair scraped backward. Neither noticed the servant entering until a silver tray struck the floor. The sound shattered the tension. Celestine stood. This conversation is over. She walked out. Ronan did not follow. An hour later, Kale returned. He carried a small wooden box. Inside were dozens of violet sealing wax sticks. Found them in an abandoned records room beneath House Vera's palace apartments. Ronan stared at the box. Anything else? Cale placed a ledger beside it. Payments, guard rotations, medical supplies, all connected to the Eastern Undercroft. Every page carried authorization from Celestine's household. The evidence was almost too perfect. Ronan thought of the burn on her wrist. Then Evelyn's warning. He returned to the old royal wing. Evelyn was awake beside the window. Ronan placed the ledger before her. Tell me if you've seen this. She didn't touch it. She didn't need to. Her face changed immediately. Yes. Where? One of the men brought it downstairs. Was Celestine Vera with him? Evelyn looked confused. No. Did you ever see Celestine? Silence. Evelyn. Her green and gold eyes met his. Yes. Ronan's chest tightened. When? Evelyn answered softly. The night she tried to get me out. Ronan stared at Evelyn. She tried to free you? 3 months ago. And you waited until now to tell me? You asked if I had seen her. You never asked why. Ronan's jaw tightened. Tell me. Evelyn moved away from the window. She came after midnight. Alone. She knew where the keys were. Did she unlock you? Yes. Then why were you still there? Evelyn's expression darkened. Because I saw what happened if I left. Ronan went still. You used your sight? Celestine brought your coronation medal. She told me to touch it. Anger flashed through him. So she used you too. She gave me a choice. That stopped him. Evelyn looked toward the door. I saw the palace burning. Pack armies inside the capital. Thousands dead. And if you stayed? I couldn't see far enough. Ronan felt something cold settle in his chest. So you chose the chains. I chose the future where fewer people were already screaming. Before Ronan could answer, the alarm bells rang. 3 sharp strikes. Then 4. Cale burst into the chamber. Your Majesty. South Gallery. What happened? Assassin. Ronan reached for his sword. Cale blocked him. Wait. His commander held out a black ceremonial clasp. Ronan recognized it. His own. It was found beside the attacker's body. Ronan's eyes narrowed. Whose target? You. Evelyn suddenly inhaled. Her gaze locked onto the clasp. No. Ronan looked at her. She was already shaking. Don't touch it. Evelyn stepped closer anyway. You don't have to do this. If the assassin carried something belonging to you, the object may hold the decision. Evelyn. She picked it up. Her eyes turned gold. Her body went rigid. Then she screamed. Ronan caught her. Images seemed to tear through her faster than she could speak. South staircase. She gasped. Not the gallery. What do you see? Cale falls. Cale stiffened. 3 arrows. Then fire. Blood appeared beneath Evelyn's fingernails. Ronan grabbed the clasp from her hand. The vision broke. She collapsed against him. Cale was already moving. I'm taking 20 men. No. Ronan looked at Evelyn. 3 arrows. She nodded weakly. From above. Ronan made his decision. Seal the south staircase. Nobody enters. Send men through the kitchens and put archers on the western roof. Cale obeyed. 7 minutes later, they caught 2 assassins above the staircase. A third was discovered carrying lamp oil beneath the gallery. No royal soldier died. No fire started. Evelyn had been right. That should have relieved Ronan. Instead, something changed. The next morning, a border dispute arrived from Greyfen. Ronan read the report, then looked toward the door of Evelyn's chamber. One question entered his mind. What happens if I choose wrong? He hated himself for thinking it. He went to her anyway. Evelyn was sitting beside the fire, her damaged fingers wrapped in clean linen. Ronan placed the Greyfen report on the table. She stared at it, then at him. Neither spoke. Ronan knew what asking would make him. He also knew hundreds of lives might depend on the answer. Can you see what happens? Evelyn's face revealed no judgment. That made it worse. She slowly reached toward the report, then stopped. Do you want my advice? Yes. Or do you want certainty? Ronan had no answer. Evelyn withdrew her hand. That's how it begins. The words landed harder than an accusation. Ronan looked at the bandages covering the wounds other people had already given her, then at the report between them. For the first time, he understood the true temptation of Moonthread Sight. It wasn't power over the future. It was permission to stop being afraid of making the wrong choice. And Ronan wanted that permission more than he wanted to admit. Ronan did not ask Evelyn to touch the Greyfen report. He made the decision himself. For 2 days, that felt like a victory. Then Cale returned from Iron Vale with proof that shattered it. He entered Ronan's study after midnight, carrying 3 leather dispatch cases. Lock the door. Ronan did. Cale emptied the cases across the table. Military reports. Trade agreements. Private correspondence. What am I looking at? 8 months of coincidences. Cale opened the first report. Remember the Iron Veil Treaty? Of course. 2 days before negotiations, someone anonymously warned you to change locations. Ronan remembered Evelyn's vision. Cale opened another document. The original hall was never compromised. Ronan's eyes narrowed. The security report was false. Manufactured. Another document. Western grain crisis. You lowered royal tariffs after 3 merchants threatened to suspend shipments. Yes, they were paid to make the threat. Another. Commander Damar's removal. He was selling military information. No. Cale placed a confession on the table. The witness who accused him was paid. Ronan stared at the documents. One by one, the victories of his reign began changing shape. Not failures. Something worse. Performances. What happened to Damar? Exile. Ronan remembered signing the order himself. He had believed the evidence. He had chosen the punishment. No one had forced his hand. They had only built the world around him until the desired choice became obvious. How many? Cale hesitated. We've confirmed 11. Ronan looked up. 11? Political decisions. Military decisions. Trade. Cale's voice lowered. There may be more. Ronan walked to the window. Below, Ashbourne's capital slept beneath moonlight. For years, he had believed a king's greatest responsibility was choosing correctly when others could not. Now he wondered how many of his choices had ever truly belonged to him. Behind him, Cale opened the final case. This is different. Inside lay letters bearing seals from 3 great packs. Ronan read the first, then the second, then the third. All described private negotiations Ronan had never authorized. Someone representing the crown had promised territory, military protection, and succession privileges in exchange for loyalty during the coming covenant renewal. If these become public, the packs will believe you were buying the covenant before they arrived. I wasn't. I know. Will they? Cale said nothing. Ronan looked at the signatures. None were his. But each promise anticipated exactly what the receiving alpha wanted. As if whoever wrote them already knew how every leader would respond. Moonthread. Ronan returned to Evelyn's chamber. She was asleep. He almost left. Then she spoke without opening her eyes. You walk louder when you're angry. Ronan stopped. Did they ever make you look at negotiations involving the Great Pacts? Evelyn opened her eyes. Yes. How many? I don't know. Try. Ronan. How many? She flinched. He heard his own voice. The command in it. The same pressure others had used against her. Ronan stepped back. I'm sorry. Evelyn sat up. More than 20. His stomach dropped. Did you see the Crown Covenant? Her silence told him enough. What happens? I won't tell you. Evelyn, 7 packs could go to war. I know. Then help me stop it. Her green eyes hardened. You mean help you choose the future you prefer? The future where people survive. That is what they always say. Ronan froze. Evelyn rose and walked toward him. You think you're different because you unlocked my chains. Her bandaged fingers trembled at her sides. But every time you're afraid, you look at me and wonder whether I could make the fear disappear. Ronan couldn't deny it. Evelyn's voice softened. That is why they chose you. What? She stared at him. They weren't only studying the future. They were studying you. A knock interrupted them. Cale entered without waiting. His expression was grim. We found who authorized the first false security report. Ronan turned. Celestine? No. Cale placed an old document into his hand. At the bottom was a seal Ronan had known since childhood. The ancient mark of the keeper of the crown. His great-uncle, Moonthread Ashborne. And suddenly Ronan understood that the conspiracy had begun much closer to the throne than he ever imagined. Moonthread Ashborne had taught Ronan how to read before he taught him how to fight. That made the evidence harder to believe. Ronan found his great-uncle in the Hall of Lineage, calmly studying records older than the kingdom itself. Moonthread looked up. Something troubles you. Ronan placed the document on the table. Do you recognize the seal? Moonthread barely glanced at it. Mine. No denial. No surprise. Ronan's wolf stirred. You authorized a false security report before the Iron Veil negotiations. Yes. Why? Because you needed to change the meeting location. Ronan stared at him. Moonthread closed the book. You came here expecting a confession. I gave you one. Yet somehow you're disappointed. How do you know what I expected? A faint smile. I helped raise you. Ronan stepped closer. Do you know Evelyn Thorne? This time, something changed. Not fear. Interest. Who? Ronan watched him carefully. Then the doors opened behind him. Celestine entered. Enough. Ronan turned. Her usual composure was gone. Celestine? She looked at Malrek. You promised she wouldn't be used again before the Black Moon. Silence. Ronan felt the room tilt. Malrek's expression hardened. You've become careless. Celestine ignored him. Ronan, we need to leave. You knew. I knew enough. The Undercroft? Yes. Evelyn? Yes. His voice dropped. And you said nothing. Celestine's eyes filled with anger. Because the one time I tried to free her, she saw what followed. Civil war. Yes. Ronan remembered Evelyn's explanation. Celestine pulled back her sleeve. The circular burn remained on her wrist. I touched the coronation medal with her. Ronan finally understood. You were inside the vision. I needed to know whether she was lying. And I saw the capital burn. Malrek sighed. You saw one possible branch. Celestine faced him. I saw enough. No. You saw fear and mistook it for certainty. Ronan's eyes narrowed. You sound familiar with her sight. Malrek smiled faintly. Then footsteps thundered outside. Kale entered with 4 guards. Your Majesty, we found the original Undercroft records. He stopped when he saw Malrek. Ronan held out his hand. Kale gave him the ledger. The first entries were decades old. Moonthread subjects. Experiments. Royal decisions. Most names were marked deceased. Ronan looked at Malrek. How long? Longer than either of us has been alive. You continued it. I perfected it. Celestine whispered. You told me you were containing it. I was. Malrek stepped toward Ronan. Your father nearly lost 3 packs because he refused to understand probability. Your grandfather started a border war over an insult that could have been anticipated. His eyes sharpened. I decided Ashborne deserved better. So you imprisoned a woman. I prevented wars. You manufactured crises. To control their outcomes. Ronan's hands curled. Malrek remained calm. Think, boy. How many soldiers died at Ironvale? None. How many starved during the grain crisis? None. How many border villages burned? Ronan said nothing. None. Malrek stepped closer. You call it manipulation because you dislike discovering that peace required design. You took away people's choices. No. Malrek's voice became almost gentle. I gave them choices whose consequences I already understood. Ronan felt sick. Then Malrek looked toward Celestine. And she understood too. Ronan turned. Celestine didn't deny it. I stayed close because I was trying to keep Evelyn alive. Malrek laughed quietly. You stayed because every future she showed you without my intervention ended with thousands dead. Celestine's face tightened. Ronan looked between them. What happens during the Black Moon? Neither answered. Celestine. Her voice broke. Moonthread Sight becomes stronger. How strong? Malrek answered. Strong enough to see the Covenant as a single branching decision. Ronan understood. 7 great packs. Millions of lives. 1 seer. You're going to use Evelyn. Malrek's expression remained serene. One final time. Ronan crossed the distance between them. Kale stepped forward, but Malrek did not retreat. If you touch her again. What? Malrek interrupted. You'll arrest me? His smile vanished. You still don't understand. Outside, the great palace bells began ringing. Not an alarm. An arrival. Malrek looked toward the windows. The first great pack is here. Then the second bell rang. And the third. Malrek met Ronan's eyes. By tomorrow night, all 7 alphas will stand beneath the Black Moon. His voice dropped. And when they do, you will beg Evelyn to show you how to save your kingdom. By sunset, all 7 great packs had entered the capital. They did not arrive as allies. Ironvale brought 300 warriors. Greyfin brought 400. Northreach refused to house its soldiers inside the city walls. Before midnight, 2 alphas were already demanding private audiences with Ronan. Someone had leaked the letters promising territory and military privileges. The Covenant was beginning to fracture exactly as Malrek had predicted. Ronan ordered Malrek confined to his chambers. It changed nothing. The damage had already been designed. In the old royal wing, Evelyn stood beside a window watching hundreds of torches move through the courtyard below. They're afraid. So am I. She looked at Ronan. It was the first time she had heard him admit it. Ronan placed the ancient Moonthread ledger on the table. I know what happens tomorrow. Evelyn's face tightened. The crown. Yes. She closed her eyes. Ronan continued. The moonstone amplifies your sight. It does. And if Malrek connects you to it? Evelyn remained silent. How many times has it been done before? 3. How many survived? Her eyes opened. None. Ronan felt his wolf surge. He forced it down. You're leaving tonight. Evelyn stared at him. No, that wasn't a request. The instant he said it, Ronan knew. Evelyn's expression changed. Not fear. Disappointment. Ronan closed his eyes. I'm doing it again. Yes. Trying to choose for you. Yes. He turned away. What would you choose? To stay. Why? Because if I disappear tonight, Malrek still has the covenant. He won't have you. He may not need me. Evelyn approached the table. He has 8 months of visions. He knows what each alpha fears, what each one wants, what pressure breaks them. Ronan looked at her. And you think staying fixes that? No. Then why? Because I'm tired of every choice in my life being made by men who believe they know what is best for everyone else. The words struck cleanly. Ronan nodded. Then stay. Evelyn seemed almost surprised. But tomorrow, you don't touch the crown. If I need to. No. Ronan stopped himself. Evelyn raised an eyebrow. A quiet laugh escaped him. It was brief, unexpected, and for one moment, the kingdom disappeared. Ronan noticed the gold rings around her green irises. Evelyn noticed him noticing. Something passed between them. Not prophecy, not command, something simpler. Then Kale entered. The alphas are assembling. Ronan followed him to the council chamber. All 7 leaders were waiting. So was Malrek. Ronan stopped. I ordered you confined. Greyfin's alpha stood. Lord Malrek requested the right to answer accusations made against the covenant. Ronan looked at his great-uncle. Malrek smiled. The trap was already closed. For the next hour, accusations filled the chamber. Forged promises, manipulated negotiations, false military intelligence. Every accusation was true, and every document carried the shadow of Ronan's government. Finally, Alpha Torrin of Iron Vale slammed his fist onto the table. Did you know? No. Can you prove that? Ronan looked around the chamber. 7 leaders. 7 packs deciding whether his words still meant anything. He could not prove ignorance. Malrek rose. I can. Ronan's eyes narrowed. Malrek placed an ancient document on the table. The Black Moon Protocol. Celestine went pale. Malrek continued. For generations, the Keeper of the Crown has possessed a method of determining which political decisions preserve the greatest number of lives. Murmurs spread. You manipulated us, Torrin growled. I protected you. You bribed my council. To prevent your war with Greyfin. Malrek looked toward Ronan. And the king condemned my methods only after enjoying their results. The room fell silent. That was the blade Ronan had not anticipated. Malrek turned to the alphas. Tomorrow, Evelyn Thorne can show us which covenant prevents war. Ronan stood. No. Why? Because it will kill her. Malrek's expression did not change. One life. Evelyn's warning returned to Ronan. That is what they always say. Malrek spread his hands. One life against tens of thousands. Several alphas looked away. Not all of them rejected the equation. That frightened Ronan more than Malrek did. Then Malrek delivered the final blow. If the king refuses, ask yourselves why. His gaze settled on Ronan. Is he protecting Evelyn? A pause. Or protecting his right to make mistakes with your children's lives? No one spoke. Ronan had no answer that could defeat the arithmetic. One life. Thousands. The doors opened. Evelyn entered. Ronan turned sharply. She walked past him and faced Malrek. I'll do it. Ronan's blood went cold. No. Evelyn looked at him. Her voice was calm. On one condition. Malrek smiled. Name it. Evelyn's green and gold eyes remained on Ronan. When I see the future tomorrow, the choice of whether to hear it belongs to the king. And for the first time, Malrek's smile disappeared. Ronan did not sleep. By dawn, the palace looked less like the seat of a kingdom and more like a fortress waiting for war. 7-pack banners surrounded the Covenant Hall. Thousands of wolves filled the capital. And above them, the moon was already beginning to darken. Kale found Ronan in the empty throne room. We have another problem. He handed him 3 intercepted messages. Ronan read them. Ironvale believed Greyfin planned to attack after the ceremony. Greyfin had received the same warning about Northreach. Northreach believed Ronan intended to arrest all 3 alphas. Malrek, we can't prove it. He doesn't need proof anymore. Ronan crushed the messages in his fist. He only needs fear. Kale nodded. If one pack mobilizes, the others will follow. How long? Hours. Ronan looked toward the distant Covenant Hall. Malrek had built his perfect argument. Chaos was coming. Evelyn could show them how to avoid it. And every minute made sacrificing her seem more reasonable. That was the design. Ronan found Evelyn preparing for the ceremony with Celestine. The burns around Evelyn's wrists had darkened. Celestine was wrapping protective cloth around them. Ronan stopped at the doorway. You knew those wouldn't save her. Celestine's hands went still. No. Then why? Because pain still matters, even when you can't prevent all of it. Ronan entered. Evelyn looked exhausted. You don't have to do this. Yes, I do. No. She almost smiled. You're getting better at turning commands into opinions. I'm serious. So am I. Evelyn stood. If Malrek is right, I may see a path that prevents thousands of deaths. And if seeing it kills you, that is my decision. Ronan hated the answer, because it was exactly the answer he had demanded everyone respect. Evelyn touched the edge of the table. I can try once before the ceremony. Ronan frowned. Try what? To look without the crown. Celestine immediately objected. You're too weak. One vision. Evelyn looked at Ronan. Give me something connected to tomorrow. Ronan removed the covenant key from around his neck. An ancient piece of black iron used to open the ceremonial hall. He held it out. Evelyn hesitated, then took it. Her eyes turned gold. The room vanished from her expression. Her breathing stopped. Ronan reached toward her, but forced himself not to interfere. Evelyn, she whispered. I see the hall. Her fingers tightened around the key. 7 alphas. A thin line of blood appeared beneath her nose. The moonstone. Celestine stepped forward. Enough. Evelyn continued. Malrek connects me to the crown. Ronan's jaw clenched. What happens? War. The word landed like stone. Which choice causes it? I don't know. Her breathing quickened. I see you listening to me. Ronan went still. Evelyn's face twisted in confusion. Then Ironvale leaves. Another branch. I see you refusing. She gasped. Grayfin attacks. Another. You arrest Malrek. Northreach walks away. Another. You surrender the crown. Her voice broke. Someone kills Kale. Ronan looked toward his commander. Every path was collapsing. Stop. Evelyn couldn't. The possibilities accelerated. Ronan becomes king. Ronan loses the throne. The Covenant survives. The Covenant breaks. Celestine dies. Malrek dies. I die. Evelyn. Ronan tore the key from her hand. She collapsed. He caught her. For several seconds, she couldn't speak. Then her eyes found his. I understand. What? Why the visions are changing. Ronan held her upright. Evelyn looked almost frightened by the answer. Every time you refuse to use the future, you create choices they never made me examine. Ronan stared at her. Malrek can't predict you anymore. Outside, the first ceremonial horn sounded. The Black Moon Covenant would begin within the hour. Evelyn looked toward the darkening sky. I can still use the crown. No. I may be able to find the safest branch. Ronan shook his head. Then we walk into that hall blind. Yes. People could die. Yes. You could lose your kingdom. Yes. Evelyn studied him. Doesn't that terrify you? Ronan looked toward the 7 banners beyond the window. It does. Then he took the covenant key and closed his hand around it. But fear doesn't give me the right to turn you into an answer. The second horn sounded. Ronan offered Evelyn his hand. Not as her king. As a man asking her to walk beside him into a future neither of them could see. After a moment, Evelyn took it. Together, they walked toward the Covenant Hall. And above Ashborne Palace, the moon turned black. The Covenant Hall had been built for certainty. 7 stone pillars represented the 7 great packs. 7 banners hung beneath a domed ceiling open to the night. And at the center stood the Ashborne crown. Its moonstone had turned black. Ronan entered with Evelyn beside him. Every alpha rose. Malrek waited near the crown. You came. I said I would. Ronan looked around the chamber. Ironvale warriors guarded one entrance. Grayfin guarded another. Hands rested on sword hilts. One frightened command could begin a war. Malrek addressed the alphas. The Black Moon is upon us. We have one opportunity to see which covenant preserves this kingdom. Ronan stepped forward. There will be no prophecy. Voices erupted. Alpha Torrent stood. Then what do you offer instead? The truth. Ronan faced them all. My government manipulated negotiations with your packs. Silence spread. Some decisions carrying my authority were built on information secretly obtained through Moonthread Sight. Torrent's face hardened. You expect us to believe you knew nothing? No. Ronan's answer surprised everyone. I expect you to decide whether you believe me. Malrek almost smiled. Ronan continued. I cannot prove every choice I made was untouched by this conspiracy. I cannot promise the Covenant will prevent war, and I will not sacrifice Evelyn to pretend otherwise. Malrek moved toward the crown. Then I will. Cale reached for his sword. Too late. Hidden mechanisms opened beneath the ceremonial platform. Iron restraints snapped around Evelyn's wrists. She screamed as silver chains dragged her toward the crown. Evelyn. Ronan lunged. Guards emerged from behind the pillars. Not royal guards. Malrek's. The hall exploded into violence. Cale intercepted 2 men while Ronan tore one away from Evelyn. But the crown was already responding. Black light moved through the moonstone. Evelyn's eyes turned brilliant gold. Her scream stopped. Then she began whispering. Hundreds of futures. Thousands. Grayfin attacks. Northreach leaves. Ironvale burns. Cale dies. Celestine survives. Celestine dies. Blood ran from Evelyn's nose. Malrek grabbed Ronan. Listen to her. Ronan struggled toward Evelyn. She can save them. Evelyn looked at him through glowing eyes. I can find it. Ronan stopped. Her voice trembled. The safest path. Malrek released him. For one impossible second, the hall became quiet. This was what Ronan had wanted since the nightmares began. An answer. No guessing. No dead children beneath 7 banners. Evelyn reached toward him. Ask me. Ronan looked at the Alphas. At Cale. At Celestine. At his kingdom. Then at Evelyn dying beneath his crown. He walked toward her. Malrek exhaled in relief. Ronan placed both hands on the Ashborne crown and lifted it from the altar. What are you doing? Malrek's face changed. Ronan stared at the black moonstone. This is the last answer it will ever give. He slammed the crown against the stone floor. The metal bent. The moonstone cracked. Malrek screamed. No. Ronan struck it again. The moonstone shattered. Dark light exploded through the hall. The restraints released. Evelyn collapsed into Ronan's arms. Above them, the black moon remained silent. No prophecy. No answer. Malrek stared at the broken crown. You fool. Ronan gently gave Evelyn to Celestine. Then he faced his great-uncle. You could have saved them. Maybe. You've condemned thousands to uncertainty. Yes. Ronan turned toward the 7 Alphas. You want a guarantee? He removed the broken crown. I don't have one. He placed it on the floor. You want the right to leave the Covenant? Gasps spread through the hall. You have it. Malrek stared at him in disbelief. Ronan continued. No threats. No punishment. No manufactured crises. He looked at each Alpha. If Ashborne remains united tonight, it will be because you choose it. Silence. Then Alpha Tauren removed the Ironvale banner from its ceremonial hook. Malrek smiled bitterly. There. Your first pack is leaving. Tauren looked at Ronan, then carried the banner forward. He planted it beside the shattered crown. Ironvale remains. Grayfin's Alpha slowly stood. Malrek's expression faltered. She brought her banner forward. Grayfin remains. Then Northreach. Then the 4th pack. The 5th. The 6th. Finally, the 7th banner joined them. 7 banners surrounded a broken crown. Malrek stared at the sight as if reality itself had betrayed him. Ronan looked down at Evelyn. Her eyes were green again. Alive. No one had predicted this future, because no one had been allowed to choose it before. The black moon passed before dawn. Ashborne was still standing. No pack armies marched through the capital. No banners burned. No bodies filled the Covenant Hall. For the first time in months, the kingdom had survived a night no one had predicted. Malrek Ashborne was imprisoned beneath royal guard. But Ronan refused to decide his punishment alone. Representatives from all 7 great packs would judge the man who had manipulated them. The Undercroft was opened. Every ledger was recovered. Every Moonthread record was made available to the pack councils. Then Ronan ordered the chambers destroyed. Not sealed. Destroyed. The new law followed 3 days later. No seer could be imprisoned, coerced, purchased, or compelled to reveal a future. Not by an Alpha. Not by a council. Not even by a king. Celestine stood beside Ronan when he signed it. Their marriage agreement lay unopened on the table. I suppose we should discuss this, she said. We should. Celestine looked at him. Neither needed prophecy to know the answer. Our marriage would stabilize the southern territories, she said. Yes. It would also be a terrible reason to marry. Ronan smiled faintly. I was trying to find a diplomatic way to say that. You were failing. She broke the seal herself, then tore the agreement in half. There was no humiliation, no rejection, only two people finally refusing to confuse political usefulness with destiny. Within a week, Celestine accepted a new position as independent diplomatic envoy to the Great Pax. She was better at negotiating with alphas than Ronan anyway. She made certain he knew it. Evelyn recovered more slowly. The Black Moon had permanently weakened her sight. At first, she feared she had lost it entirely. Then one morning, she touched a gardener's abandoned pruning knife and saw two possibilities. In one, it rained. In the other, it didn't. Evelyn laughed until she cried. Weeks later, Ronan found her in the palace gardens. Spring had begun pushing through the last patches of snow. She was kneeling beside a row of white flowers, sleeves rolled above wrists that would always carry faint scars. Ronan approached without guards. Evelyn looked up. No crown. It didn't survive. I heard. A tragedy. It was ugly. Ronan laughed. Then he sat beside her. For a while, neither spoke. Their relationship had changed since the covenant. Not because a prophecy declared it. Not because a royal law required it. Something quieter had grown between them. Trust. Choice. And beneath both, the first unmistakable pull of a mate bond neither was willing to use as an excuse. Ronan looked at her. Can I ask you something? You're the king. That wasn't permission. Evelyn smiled. Ask. What do you see when you look at me now? Her expression softened. She reached out and took his hand. Ronan waited. No golden light entered her eyes. No blood appeared beneath her fingernails. Nothing happened. Finally, Evelyn said, Nothing. Ronan's smile faded. Your sight? Still there. Then why can't you see me? I can sometimes. She looked toward the palace. But there used to be only a handful of paths around you. Someone had already narrowed your choices before you reached them. Her fingers tightened gently around his. Now there are too many. Ronan understood. You can't predict me. No. Does that frighten you? Evelyn considered the question. Then she smiled. No. Why? Because whatever happens next belongs to us. Ronan looked down at their joined hands. Once, he would have wanted to know where they led. Marriage. War. Peace. Children. Loss. A long reign. A short one. Now he understood that knowing was not the same as living. He stood and offered Evelyn his hand. She looked at it. The Alpha King gave no command. The moonthread showed no future. The broken crown offered no answer. Evelyn chose. She placed her hand in his. Together, they walked deeper into the garden. Behind them stood a palace learning to live without prophecy. Ahead of them waited something far more frightening and far more precious. A future no one had already decided.